Hello, and today we'll be playing on Zomewhere Else. That morning, after subtly banishing Martha before he could devour your entire breakfast by telling him to wait for you at the edge of the forest, you meet up with Jenny downstairs. You still have no idea how she has so much money to keep you buying. Keep you buying. Hello, and today we'll be playing on Zomewhere Else. That morning, after subtly banishing Martha before he could devour your entire breakfast by telling him to wait for you at the edge of the forest, you meet up with Jenny downstairs. You still have no idea how she has so much money to keep you buying you such delicious food every day for breakfast, with what her cafe being not even open yet, but you certainly aren't going to complain. So, big news today, boys. Well, you and Jenny glare at him, and he awkwardly swallows his mouthful of air before continuing. Did Dusan stumble over his feet this morning on the way to school? He chuckles to himself while Jenny stares daggers at him. His defense, though, that very well could be the news Jenny has to deliver. In between continuing to prepare the cafe on her own, Jenny had been telling Dusan and reporting back on his activities every morning. So far, you learned that Dusan follows a fairly strict schedule with no real deviations. Drop Tony off at school, go to work at the city hall, pick Tony up from school, go home, repeat. Still, sometimes he might go somewhere different while he's at work, but it wasn't ever anywhere important, at least as far as Jenny could tell, since she couldn't even follow him too closely. Some quote unquote sketchy dude was always following him around that made telling hard. Probably just a bodyguard, you wager, but Jenny insists he's way too sketchy to just be a bodyguard. In fact, most of her news was just her overblowing the importance of many things. Dusan dropped his wallet today. Tony sneezed at Dusan, didn't say bless you. They're having a sale of gummy bears at the candy store. But today she looks way more intense as she clears her throat to set Fred up. No, jackass, it's actually something big this time. I don't know if you noticed, but it's super freaking early, so I shouldn't even have news about Dusan yet. But while I was out getting breakfast, I spotted him and Tony rushing to school. It was barely even open before he dropped the kid off. They both blinked, then glanced up at the clock, 8:17. Holy crap, that is early. We should go see him. Jenny follows you outside, struggling for a moment to lock up behind you. Once she's done, she marches off towards the school, but she stops after a few steps when she realizes you're not following her. She turns around and stares at you expectantly, like a puppy waiting for a treat. Oh, are you coming too, then? Yeah, I love to go to school sometimes, to nag Mr. Lorenzo about stuff or help him with paperwork. Fred stares Jenny's wide, innocent smile down with a glare of disappointment. Seriously? Who are you even trying to fool? Jenny scoffs, that smile fading from her face immediately into a tight frown as she glares at Fred. Well, Chad was eating it up. Thanks for blowing it for me, Fred. Wait, what? Today's burger day in the cafeteria. Jenny, for some reason, sees it as an all-you-can-eat burger buffet since she's an alumni and also knows the information. They are the ones always inviting me to the kitchen so I can spill all the juicy tea for them. They crave the tea, Chad. They yearn for the tea. Okay, since when did they have a burger today? We didn't have anything like that back when we were at school. Oh yeah, it's something Mr. Lorenzo came up with recently to help raise student morale. Damn, no fair. I might actually have enjoyed going to school if we had burger days. Yeah, you would love Mr. Lorenzo as a principal. Yeah. Anyways, let's get going. Sally? Sure. The three of you head towards the school, watching the now familiar sight of Mother Marble coming to life as you around you as it wakes up, with stores flipping their signs to open and lights flickering on. After a short walk, you guys make it to the school's entrance, where Mr. Lorenzo, as always, is greeting parents and students alike. Just beside him, Tony is sitting solemnly on a bench, idly fiddling with a strap on his backpack. As you approach, his full-on gaze slowly drifts up to you, and immediately he bursts with energy, leaping up to his feet. Mr. Chad, Mr. Fred. Ma'am. Hey, Tony. Sup, little boy? Hi. How's everything going? Fred kneels down next to Tony, leaning in nice and close with a sly grin on his face, as if sharing some deeply important secret. He whispers into Tony's ear. We're making big progress. Operation Cat Rescue is almost a go. Do you think you and your mom can hang in there a little longer, Agent Tony? Despite his situation, the little kitten's eyes beam at Fred's playful framing of it all, and he nods eagerly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As long as it takes, Mr. Agent Fred. Fred gets up again, flashing him a smile before patting his head. Here, Agent. Very, very good. But that's not all we're here for. Madam Rabbit is also on a mission to eat all the cafeteria's burgers. Frederick. Fred's big grin fades immediately, a cold sweat forming on his brow as Jenny's murderous glare drills into the back of his head. Tony thankfully doesn't seem to notice, instead look up at Jenny with a big grin. Really, ma'am? Because that would be awesome. I could get you some extra burgers if you want to. Really? Yeah, I always have out around the cafeteria with a friend of mine, and they always give me a whole bunch of extra food that they usually just throw away. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I love this kid. I won't have to cook for like a week. Do you even cook that all, bro? Frederick. That's absolutely really sweet of you, Tony. I'm proud of you for taking charge. Heh, same here. Chad and I used to do the same when we were in school. Good to know their old traditions haven't changed. Well, now I actually feel kind of bad about mooching off of your hard work, kiddo. Are you sure you'd be willing to share? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Lorenzo told me you were a poor, sad, and lonely lady. That's why you always had to come to the school to beg for some food to be able to live. I couldn't stand the thought of Mr. Chad and Mr. Fred's fun to be in a situation like that, so I'd be happy to help out in whatever way I can. Besides, they always give me so much anyway. I couldn't even piss off. Yeah, I get stole. Kind of pissed off. Well, now I actually feel kind of bad about mooching off of your hard work, kiddo. Are you sure you'd be willing to share? Yes, ma'am. Mr. Lorenzo told me you were a poor, sad, and lonely lady. That's why you always had to come to the school to beg for some food to be able to live. I couldn't stand the thought of Mr. Chad and Mr. Fred's friend to be in a situation like that, so I'd be happy to help out whatever way I can. Besides, they always give me so much anyway. I couldn't ever hold to eat it all myself. It's win-win. Oh, Mr. Lorenzo said that? The smile on her face is terrifying. The grin of a scorned woman. The glare of a fury that can make the fires of hell look like a sunny day at the beach. You don't dare say anything now. Yeah, he also gave me permission to tell the lunch ladies about your situation so they're aware and willing to help. Oh my, Mr. Lorenzo is such a good man, isn't he? Her tone is flat, her eyes quivering and murderous, drift over to the lion who is jovially laughing with a parrot. You wonder if Bruce has enough room for another body in his grove. Totally. So don't worry, ma'am. I've got you covered. Judy looks down at Tony with the last ounces of tenderness of her being. Then that gaze slowly drifts to Fred, her smile now absent of anything but hate. You look at Fred, and Fred looks back at you, more terrified than he was when staring down the maw of death at the mountain. He nervously smiles. Hey, Tony. The tiny voice breaks through the oppressive tension from behind you, cutting into that disturbing silence. Before he can turn around, a small kid trots carefully up to Tony, smiling and awkwardly waving. He's a small white Samoyed, a little side-looking with a defensive posture. His eyes peer out from a black stripe across his face similar to a raccoon's mask. He must be a mixed breed as well. Tony eagerly hugs him, pinning his arms to his sides as he lifts him up and spins him around. Hey, Roro. They only spin for a brief moment before Tony loses his balance and the pair topples over, though thankfully they land on Roro's backpack, cushioning the fall. After a moment, they start giggling, then stand back up. Whoop. Sorry about that. Mr. Chad, Mr. Fred, ma'am, this is my friend Roro, the one I was telling you about. Oh, hey, nice to meet you, Roro. Hey, dude. Sup, Roro? Long time no see. Roro flinches, his face flushing a bit as he looks at the ground, grabbing his own arm awkwardly and responding in a quiet, clearly anxious voice. Hello. Before the conversation can continue any further, though, a bell echoes out from within the school building. Anyways, that's our cue. I'll be counting on you guys, okay? And I'll definitely save some burgers for you, ma'am. Let's go, Roro, before she gets here. Alright. The two kids grab their packs and head inside, with only Tony waving back at you. Bye, guys. See ya, buds. Jenny continues to smile, though the vein on her forehead looks like it's about to explode with enough force to settle her skull. So, was it just me, or did Roro look like Toto? Yeah, he's... Suddenly, someone casually shoves their way in front of you, interrupting Fred. It takes you a moment to process what even happened, but before any anger at this sudden intruder's rudeness sets in, you recognize him. Hey guys, long time no see. Hi dude. Fred looks at you with wide eyes, and instantly you recognize exactly what's going through his mind. It's been a rough few months, but only a few people were actually able to recognize you as a Doberman that's been missing for a decade. You don't look the same at all anymore, sure, but how many Dobermans are there with boar tusks? Though to be fair, many people have recognized you already, but they just don't care. But this makes no sense. Toto should know already, since he was the first one to recognize you. But how much he had hit on you, how could he not recognize you? What brings you here? Oh, I just came to drop my little brother off at school. We ended up leaving pretty late this morning. Oops. His awkward chuckling only lasted for a moment before he finally picks up on the look on Fred's face. What's up, Fred? Don't tell me you've missed me that much. No, Toto, it has been a while, but, try to not freak out or anything, but there's someone I'd like you to meet. Oh? Did you finally find yourself a lover? No, it's... Fred motions toward you, and Toto finally turns around, looking you over. You stare at him with dread in your soul, expecting the flirtations to suddenly begin, but... No, it can't be. Is this a prank, Fred? No, it's him. Chad, is that really you? He carefully approaches you, looking you over as tears well in his eyes. He reaches out as if he's going to touch you, but then stops short with a small sob escaping him. Hi? I'm sorry, Is it okay if He holds his arms out, motioning for a hug, completely lost. You don't even think before making your response. Sure? He nods then and closes the gap between you, wrapping his arms around you and giving you a squeeze. Fred reaches out and gives him a sympathetic pat on the shoulder, and Jenny's murder frenzy settles somewhat, a gentle smile forming on her lips at this heartfelt reunion between friends after a decade apart. There, buddy. Just try to. I can't believe it. It's a miracle. Toto sniffles and sobs again, squeezing you even tighter as he rests his head atop your shoulder. Fred and Jenny watch the scene unfold, their hearts clearly warmed as empathy for Toto's emotions courses through them. You knew that this was going to happen. You knew that one day you would need to start explaining to people you once knew that you're back, whether you like it or not. It's impossible to disappear for a decade and just come back like nothing happened. But why? Toto lifts his head slightly, rubbing his cheek on yours as he sniffles, then all the tension falls from his body in ever so quietly. I kept my promise. Aren't I a good boy? As Toto whispers those words into your ear, and a pressure shiver creeps down your spine. Oh my God, are you? You nearly jumped out of your fur when the voice suddenly pierces through the calm ambience of the sea. Immediately, countless thoughts speed through your mind, but most predominant is the overwhelming desire to not be here anymore. But there's no way. Chan, you flinch as you hear your name in the stranger's voice. Against your better judgment, you look over your shoulder at them, and your heart plummets as you recognize them. He's a lot skinnier, and his features are decidedly more mature now, but this stranger is unquestionably Toto. His eyes simmer with forming tears as he stares at you. You're Chad, right? Chad Harmon. Never heard of him. You got the wrong guy. You turn your head back toward the sea, letting out a quiet sigh under your breath, convinced that that was all you needed to do. That was all you needed to do to get out of the situation. Unfortunately, things are never that easy. No way. You have to be Chad. I've only ever known one Doberman with tusk. You can hear his footsteps as he walks closer. I can't believe it. I can't believe it's really you, Chad. Where have you been? It's been 10 years. And part of you wants to keep denying it, but when you look back at him, that twinkle in his eye is enough for you to know that your chances of getting away with this ruse are slim to none. So instead you opt to remain silent. What are you even supposed to say? After several moments he sniffles, wiping his sleeve across his eyes to dry up the tears, and when he looks back at you, he flashes you a warm smile. It's almost pitying, actually. Do you Not remember me? I'm Toto. We were friends in school way back when. Remember? I remember, yes. As he give in, and before you know it, he's flung his arms around you. Before you even have a chance to react or shove him off, though, he jumps back, covering his nose with a wince. Oh God, you smell. You answer only with a soft sigh, and his ears droop, a pang of guilt flashing across his face. Sorry, that was really mean. It's just, this is all a lot to take in. Where? Where have you been for 10 years? Everyone thought you died. Of course he wants to talk. Don't know. Your sharp, blunt answers give the Samoyed pause. He stares at you for a bit, scratching at his teeth. Maybe he has amnesia, but he remembers me. You keep staring as his eyes wander. You keep staring as his eyes wander away from you, and he mutters to himself, almost seeming to forget that you're there. His ears perk back up. Suddenly, after a few seconds, though, he looks back at you. Okay, I won't press you on it. Whether or not you do remember, I don't have any right to pry. But let me at least ask what your situation is right now. Based on how you smell, I can't imagine it's very good. Your heart sinks, whether out of despair or desperation, you're not sure, but you're already so exhausted by this interaction that you don't have it in you to lie. Homeless, his eyes widen in shock as he covers his mouth, stifling a gasp. You think, anyway? No. Oh God, Chad, I'm so sorry. Doesn't matter. His ears droop once more. He looks away, almost as if he's ashamed. What about a job? Do you at least have a job, Anything? What do you think? Even if I tried, nobody will hire me like this. Oh, come on, don't be like that. I'm sure somebody will. I'm speaking from experience. Oh. Well, shit. What am I even supposed to say at a time like this? How about this? You can come back to my place for a shower. I can wash your clothes. Then I'll take you out for lunch, maybe. It's the least I can do, The offer catches you off guard. It seems genuine, but for some reason, being seen as a charity case, puts a bad taste in your mouth. It's strangely frustrating. Fine. You turn your attention back to the sea. It was nice seeing you again, Toto. Whoa, hey, don't be like that. He throws himself in front of you, staring down at you with wide, shocked eyes. I'm just trying to help you, Chad. Why would you turn this down? It can literally only benefit you. Because I don't need your pity. You spit the words with an amount of venom that feels wildly unnatural to you, but in the heat of the moment, that strangeness barely registers. He flinches in response, then deflates a bit, his ears drooping. It's not pity, though. A lack of any further response from you seems to deliver the message, and he slowly disappears back out of your vision. Some time passes and you figure the conversation is finally over. You're left with a strange, painful tightness in your chest. Is it regret, anger? Your emotions have been such a chaotic mess lately that it's hard to tell. A part of you wants to chase after Toto and take him up on his offer. Logic backs that part of you, saying that this is the best chance you'll ever get. But then a strange, raging flame flares up and fills you with anger for even considering accepting pity, which then makes you feel guilty, and so the cycle continues, a downward spiral to the tune of dead silence that you force on yourself. However, that silence is once again broken by Toto, who apparently hasn't left yet. The suddenness of his voice startles you, your heart racing in your chest as you look over in his direction and see him a short distance away, his back towards you. Yeah, no, he's huge. Just looking at him, I bet he could carry entire trees by himself. But he's homeless, boss. Can't you find it in your heart to do this one thing Were you a store employee? Yeah, I know. I'll accept full responsibility. You will? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll tell him right now, and then I'll be there in a bit to pick up his key. You're the best, boss. Your chest tightens more as he says goodbye and shoves something into his pocket, then spins around and practically skips back over to you, his face absolutely beaming the whole way. So, I got good news. You are officially no longer homeless, nor are you unemployed. What? I just got off the phone with my boss, and after putting in a good word for you, he said he'd give you a job. And since he rents out a couple of properties on the side, he even said he'll give you a place to stay so long as you're working for him. What? Oh, come on, don't look at me like that. This is exciting, Fred. I may not know what happened to you, but you can't tell me you are at least a little stoked your old pal Toto came in clutch for you. You have no idea what that means, but your brain isn't even offering any space to attempt to process it. Instead, the gravity of what he's saying is swirling in your mind. Why? Huh? Why what? Why would you do something like that for me without asking? His grin widens, becoming nigh mischievous. It's distressing, actually, because clearly you weren't going to accept my help if all I made was offers. And what kind of monster would I have to be to say, oh wow, hey Chad, you've been missing for 10 years and are now homeless? Man, that sucks. Anyway, good talking to you. See you around. That's whack. But this way, you don't have a choice, okay? Well, I suppose you do, but it would be equally whack to spit in my face like that. And you're definitely not whack, right? I. Your mouth suddenly feels very dry and it's hard to swallow. Your hands are shaking. This can't be happening. It must be a dream. But as you squeeze your eyes closed and open them up once more, expecting to see the alley where you've been staying, you find Toto still standing there, beaming at you. You want to punch him as hard as you possibly can. That alien rage inside of you is at a boiling point. How fucking dare you? I don't need your goddamn charity, you self-righteous scum. These thoughts terrify you. You don't want to feel like this, yet no matter how hard you try, it won't calm down. Yoo-hoo, Earth to Chad, I didn't break you, did I? His voice startles you out of your turmoil, leaving you almost dizzy as your composure slowly returns. Whatever hold that anger had on you seems to have been broken, at least enough for you to be able to think clearly again. I promise this isn't a scam or an MLM or anything. This would be good for you. What's an MLM? It's what this job offer isn't, so don't worry about it. Come on, I'm dying of suspense here, buddy. Okay, I'll do it. Toto nearly leaps for joy, once again lunging at you, smell me down, and squeeze you tight once more. Hell yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. You briefly consider returning the hug, but once again he parts from you before you can move. Well, come on, quit looking like such a sourpuss. Let's go. We need to get you cleaned up so you can meet your new boss. We can stop by some friends' places on the way, too, and let them know you. No. He freezes, confusing, replacing the glee on his face. What? Please, don't tell anyone I'm back. But, please, Toto. He scans you for a moment as if he's trying to figure out solely from your expressing why you make such a request. Whether or not he finds his answer, though, a somber smile replaces the confusion and he nods. Alright, not a word, I promise. But in exchange, I want you to do a teeny tiny little thing for me. I doubt it'll be a problem for you considering your request, so it should be a fair trade. Okay, what do you want me to do? He puts on his sweetest smile, grabbing your hand and giving a firm squeeze, and then stay away from Frederick Kent. Chad? What? Before you know it, you're sailing through the air, mere milliseconds. After the pain finally registers in your jaw, you slam into the ground, skidding through the dirt for a bit before coming to rest, dazed and battered. Ow. The whole world spins as you shakily sit back up, use your hand to test your tender jaw, carefully wriggling and back and forth to ensure it's still where it's supposed to be. Yep, it's fine. Just stiff. Dead. Just like that. As your vision slowly clears up, the first thing you see is Bruce stopping over to you, frustration painted across his face. Are you mocking me? He crouches down in front of you to meet you at eye level, his eyes burning with an eerily familiar anger. Or are you so completely incompetent that you always freeze up the moment danger approaches? You go nervously, shaking your head. No, I'm sorry, I'm just distracted. Think about things. Think about it later. Did you even listen to what I told you when you first arrived today, or should I waste my time repeating it for you? No, it won't happen again. Then repeat it to me. Huh? Repeat what I told you this morning to me. Right now, depending on your accuracy, I will decide whether you are welcomed back on my mountain or whether you are allowed to leave at all with all your bones still intact. You stutter, letting out a shaky breath. He hasn't been this angry since the first time he came up here with Fred, a fact that even Martha seems to have picked up on. Both he and Fred follow Bruce over to you, with Fred crouching down next to you to tend to your jaw. Martha tries to calm Bruce down with a gentle hand on his shoulder and soft pleas to settle down, but his glare remains steadfastly on you. You said, now that you've got a good grasp of your Zoma, you flinch as Martha's voice courses through your mind, and it takes a second for you to realize that he's saying what he's saying. Once it registers, though, you begin to carefully repeat what he's saying. You said that now that I've got a good grasp of my Zoma, it's time for me to learn how to use it. That today we'd be sparring so you could get a good idea of what I know of fighting, since you specifically remember me having bad posture and footwork and no critical thinking skills whatsoever. And once you confirmed your suspicions that I suck, the objective was to give me the basis on how to fight and strategize. He remains staring intensely at you, his glare so hard that you begin to panic, thinking you or Martha forgot something. Eventually, your silence pays off, and he lets out a sigh, his expression softening somewhat. Just a bit. Good. It is with that in mind, then, that I trust you understand how absolutely infuriating it is for you to not even attempt to block or dodge. And only the first round, you let me kick you straight in the face without even trying. Sorry, again, I've just got a lot on my mind. We all do, Doberman. It is rare that anyone goes into battle with a purely clear mind. It is your responsibility to know how to shelve those thoughts aside and focus on the task at hand. Let this be your first and, at the moment, most important lesson. When you are fighting, Doberman, you are only fighting. Do I make myself clear? Crystal. Good. Now, back on your feet and into position. Try to actually put up a fight this time. Without another word to you, he stands and turns back to the field. He stops for a moment, leaning in close to Martha and whispering something into his ear. Whatever he says causes Martha to flinch, his antenna drooping a bit as he nods sullenly, returning to his position on the sidelines. Fred joins him a moment later. After you shoo him off, you take a deep breath before moving back toward the center of the field. Opposed, Bruce is right. I can worry about Turtle later. As much as I want, as much as what he's got going on in his head bothers me, there's more important things to worry about right now. Taking up your position in front of Bruce once more, you put your fist back up and nod toward him. All right, ready? He stares you down for a moment, then without much warning, lunges towards you. Your stance impulsively tightens. As he nears, he draws his own back, then thrusts it toward your gut. However, the punch was comically telegraphed, so you dodge it easily with a hop to the side. Following through, you throw a punch of your own at his side, but he somehow manages to duck underneath it at the last second. Coming to an abrupt halt straight afterward, he turns in place by twisting his feet into the dirt, lunging back toward you with a kick aimed straight at your midsection. With no way to possibly dodge it, you do your best to block with your arm, but the force behind it is too great, and it sends you tumbling to the ground yet again. A part of you wants to just accept that as a defeat and give up, but some little voice in your head tells you not to. Following the velocity of your tumble, you inelegantly roll and bounce back onto your feet, only having a split second to realize that Bruce is once again mere feet away. His fist lands into your gut, sending you back to the ground for good this time. Thankfully, his assault ends with that last hit as he returns to a relaxed posture, staring down at you as you roll over and push yourself up onto your knees and up into your hands and knees. Yep, I suck. Ow. Honestly, you're better than I expected. Wait, what? Look over your shoulder to see him deep in thought. You move incredibly slowly and waste so much energy with unnecessary movements. Your motions are telegraphed even more than my own, and I was intentionally doing that. Also, your balance is incredibly poor, so much so that you might have better footwork on crutches. You're too impulsive. Honestly, you could have countered me 3 separate times doing that things, and the only option you tried was the worst option. Yeah, I did better than you expected. What the hell do you think of me then? You only get points for lasting as long as you did, with what is effectively 0 real combat experience to your name. Oh no, woefully inadequate, but you aren't hopeless. Whoopee. You let out a long, exasperated sigh before flopping back over onto your back and staring at the sky dejectedly. I was feeling so good about finally making progress with my Zoma too. Man, this sucks. I suck. On your feet, Doberman. You let out a groan but complied, standing back up and dusting yourself off. I have a good idea of what we need to focus on now, but I'd like to go a few more rounds just to feel you out. Are you flirting with me? The slightest twitch of a smile and a laugh creep up at your joke, but the death glare from the tiger quickly banishes them back deep down inside of you. I want you to pay attention to how I move. From here forward, I'm going to make an effort to explain what you're doing wrong each time we exchange blows. Then, assuming that you are capable of listening to and following advice, by the end of the day, you should be capable of lasting longer than a few seconds against me as I am now. Whoa, so then, if I'm good at this training, I'll be as strong as you are soon? I suspect as much, yes. Awesome. You hear that, Fred? I'm gonna be... Of course, I'm not using my Zoma. I'm moving at a fraction of my usual speed, and I'm barely even putting any strength at all behind my blows. So, strong. Oh yes, you will be strong enough to take on the lion in a few decades at this pace. Do keep it up. All that bountiful wind is now completely gone from your sails, and that brief moment of optimistic respite has faded, leaving you lying dead in the water. Fred jogs over and gives you a reassuring pat on the shoulder. Hey, don't let it get to you, man. Bruce is just being Bruce. Just pay attention to what he's saying and heed his advice. And remember, the objective here isn't to fully train you up to a level like mine. He's just here to give you a foundation to build up from on your own. So, don't get all sad when you don't walk out of here an expert at the end of all this, okay? Martha, whom you only just now noticed, has also come over to check on you again, ponders for a moment before putting his hand up on his chin like Bruce does. Does he even have a chin? So, basically, the objective is for us to learn how to learn so we can learn better. I suppose so, yes. Oh, then that makes sense. Martha applauds with joy. No, it doesn't, though. Why are these people so confusing? Either way, the shepherd is right. Though the process will be very slow and time is of the essence, you cannot progress forward without this vital foundation. Even the explanations, as basic as they may seem, only briefly summarize what will manifest after months and years of training. And, of course, no amount of sparing will ever fully prepare you. Only once you face death itself head to head and came out on the other side victorious will you realize the true importance of all of what I'm teaching you here. It is nothing to be ashamed of either. You are not the first to let yourself think that the time we are spending here is wasted for whatever reason. The shepherd thought similarly at first, and he glanced over at Fred, noticing his eyes have drifted to the ground. A somber frown painted across his muzzle. He had to learn the hard way as well. I think I get the idea. Good. Alright, back in position. We're going to work on your balance first. On my way. With another deep breath, you get back into position, putting your arms up once more. The rest of the day was spent in a similar loop. Bruce would kick your ass, all the while shouting at you about everything slightly wrong he could see about you. Your posture, your speed, the way your feet move, the way you throw your punches, everything. Through it all, you did your best to try and heed his advice, powering through the gradually mounting aches and pains. Eventually, the sun starts to dip below the horizon, and Bruce calls it there. You aren't entirely sure if you actually made any real progress, and even though you try to gauge Bruce's expression to see what he thinks, it's impossible to read. As you head back down the mountain after saying goodbye to Martha, your mind wanders, but not back to Toto. Instead, something Bruce mentioned early on had stuck with you. He said you had effectively zero real combat experience, right? And you never got into any fights when you were in high school, right? You were so scrawny in your hand would have probably shattered if you tried to punch anybody. So then why? Why does fighting feel so familiar? Before you and Fred parted ways with Jenny this morning, you had promised to meet on the park's bridge in the evening. Even considering Jenny's aggressively bipolar nature, it was still a sight to see her so excited to meet up for dinner after how angry she was that morning. Either way, you and Fred both agreed wholeheartedly that missing this meeting would result in a tragic, painful death, so you both were eager to make it there. Not a single second passed your agreed upon meeting time of 6 o'clock. So despite your aching body and exhausted muscles, you both hustle as best you can back down the mountain, planning to exit somewhere else so you can come in through the park's regular entrance as opposed to just bursting out the tree line, potentially right in front of Jenny. Fred flashes his phone back at you and relieves a grin on his face as you both approach the park's front gate with 4 minutes to spare. The park is still fairly busy, considering it's not that late. The guy who sold you and Thorny your magic elixirs a while ago still has his shop set up nearby, and you greet each other as you pass. Although you can't help but wonder if he'd gotten any business from the poor cat since that morning. Maybe he's seen a side of a friendly Doosan you haven't seen. Hey, quit spacing out and let's go. Unless you want Jenny to vaporize one of your ass cheeks. No, I'm good, Ashley. Let's go. With Fred snickering smugly to himself, you both head into the park and make your way toward the bridge. Once you make it to the lake, you are able to spot Jenny leaning on the railing in the center of the bridge, though she's facing the other direction. Target acquired. Stay close. I have an idea. I hope the idea doesn't include suffering me into the lake again. Please. He pauses for a moment, sniffing the air. Gradually, he turns around and steps closer to you until he's basically got his nose pressed to your neck, still sniffing. Did it just get hotter in here? Your face is red. Friend, what are you? Nah, we're good. Martha barely touched you today. With all that fighting, you mostly smell regular old sweat musky. As opposed to Martha musky, I think we'll be okay. I don't know what I feel about how you looked when your conclusion was that I stink on sweat. He shrugs exaggeratedly. You can only sigh in response. What a weird creature. Whatever, I'll trust you for now. Yes, you're a good boy. He flashes a thumbs up, then scurries off towards the bridge, leaving you in the dust, and your face is now even more red. But hey, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Don't ignore me. Fred, what the hell? You chase after him, still shouting. You manage to catch up with him at the edge of the bridge, but he susses you and flicks his head towards Jenny. She got a surprisingly somber, introspective look on her face that looks almost alien on her. She's staring out over the lake, admiring the view of the light simmering on the surface of the water. A bag rests at her feet, presumably carrying the food she's eager to share with you and Fred. Despite a sudden sinking feeling that she's upset over something, Fred puts a finger to his lips, then carefully begins to sneak his way up the bridge. As he gets closer, he begins to lift his arms up like some cartoon monster, a big grin growing on his face until he's right up behind her and, boo! He slams his hands down on Jenny's shoulders as he shouts. In a flash of movement, Jenny grabs one of Fred's hands, spins around, and cuts his feet out from underneath him, shoving him face first into the railing. She pins his arm behind him and uses her other hand to hold him down by the neck. I knew you bastards were. Oh, Jenny, it's me, calm down. Fred? Wow, that was impressive. Oh, this? Easy peasy. She wears a proud grin, winking and giving a thumbs up to you, all the while continuing to hold Fred down with her other hand. You must have had a really good teacher. That hold looks professional. I never knew you could do something like that. Oh, Chad, please, there's a lot you don't know about me. The way you said that makes it sound like a threat. Should I be afraid? Are you going to hold me down like that as well? She swells and puts more pressure on Fred's arm, causing him to whine and struggle against her. In my defense, he knows better than to try and scare me. Honestly, this is so obvious. I almost assumed he wanted to wind up like this. I really thought this time I could. Ow. Trying to scare an innocent bunny, you little bitch. Her voice echoes across the park, drawing a bit of attention from other people who are still out. It doesn't seem to bother her, though, if that maniacal grin on her face is any indication. Innocent. Ow, ow, ow. Who's your mommy? Huh? Huh? She continues to apply more force to her grip. You are. She holds it for a moment longer, then releases him in an instant, very proud of this result. Good. Fred slowly stands back up, tending his assaulted arm with a wince while Jenny pockets her taser again and crosses her arms confidently. Maybe now you'll think twice before. Fred, with a semi-serious, I think, look on his face, turns around and punches Jenny in the shoulder with his middle finger's knuckle, instead seemingly nailing her right on a nerve. Oh, you bitch. I hate this. Hate this so much. Make it stop. Oh. Jenny looks at her shoulder, an unreadable expression on her face as she processes the unusual pain. You started it, bitch. You're a doodaloo. You started it. Then before your very eyes, they begin to slap fight like children. Is this like a normal thing between you two? Oh yeah, totally. Been doing this for 10 years now. They continue to flail at each other, even while answering your question. So, shouldn't you, stop them? So, what's in the bag? The fight almost immediately ends, though Jenny delivers one last powerful slap to Fred's hands before walking over to the bag that apparently makes her the victor of whatever the hell that was. Oh, I got some burgers from school. Seriously? Wait, really? Yeah. I didn't think you were serious. Item 1 on page 1 of the massive list of Jenny's rules is that the more nonsensical and ridiculous it sounds, the more serious blah blah blah. What say we make good use of the light we have left and enjoy these on the lookout, Hell yeah, I'm starving. I've never had this before, so I'm definitely in. That's the spirit, muscle double boy. You follow Jenny across the bridge and up the hill as she trots off with your food. Can't really say no to free food, I suppose. Fred follows you both shortly afterwards. Once you reach the lookout, you all find a bench with a nice view, and claiming for yourselves, Jenny's like the cool kid that she is, also sit on the back rest, dropping the bag in between her feet on the seat. She reaches in, grabbing a few and handing one each to you and Fred as you both take your seats, you in the middle and Fred on the opposite side from Jenny. Who the fuck said that school food sucks must be out of their minds, or they just haven't met our school's kitchen greens. Wait, they're still there? I mean, yeah, it's a small town, Chad. Someone could open a lemonade stand at age 8 and died behind the counter of the town's longest running, most well-known lemonade cafe 70 years later. Which is to say, people rarely move once they plant their roots. I mean, I sure have moved from job to job. Yeah, Fred, but I was talking about the people whom that applies to. You're clearly not one. Fair enough. They both shrugged and resumed silently eating their burgers. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? No, not at all. I wasn't really talking about them switching jobs anyway, just the fact that they were already super old when I was going to school. I would have figured that after a decade they have retired or something. Oh, I'm definitely telling them you said that. Jenny, please don't. Alright, I'm stupid. My apologies, muscle W boy. It's okay. I just really rather not have to go around announcing my return to everybody in Mara Marble who remembers me. It sounds exhausting, and beyond that, I'm not too big of a fan of going deep into it, so. Well, I've known about your situation for a long time now, Chad. And Fred and I also had a long talk when you came back. But don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Ah, so I guess Fred's already told you everything then. Yeah, but don't go getting your panties in a bunch over it. It wasn't that hard to find out for myself. Don't forget I started going to that school the very next year. The wounds were still fresh and people were still talking. It was basically impossible for me to not hear about it. And after I met Fred, it was pretty obvious to see that he was a hot mess. I doubt anybody would have been able to make friends with him without it coming up. Stuff like that scars you for life, dude. Not that I mean that in a negative way. I was happy to be there for him. My point is, though, it came out naturally. So don't get pissed at Fred for saying. Yeah, if it wasn't for Jenny, I would. Jenny interrupts him with another burger. Thanks. Whatever message that Southern burger was meant to convey, it came across successfully, and Fred shuts up, taking a bite of this new one. So then, why are you helping us? Or rather, helping me? Well, Fred's my best friend, you know? I'd do anything for him. I know that he'd do anything for me. That alone is enough reason for me. We've been through a lot together. Stuff like this ain't anything special. And with how much you clearly mean to him, well, it's basically a no-brainer. I see. Well, still, thank you. Whether you realize it or not, you've done so much for me already. Not only did you give me a job, but you also gave me a place to stay, and for that oh yeah, that. I've been meaning to bring that up. Things have been so busy, and you guys are always off doing God knows what, so I haven't really had a chance to talk about it with you. About what? Don't tell me you're about to kick me out or fire me. To your horror, Jenny stops and stares at you with a summer smile for a moment. As monstrously hilarious as the timing would be, no, you idiot. I'm not about to throw you back out on the street. Quit being such a pessimist. Then quit staring at me with such a sad look in your eye. Anyways, what I wanted to say is that despite everything I just said about doing anything for old Freddy boy, I'm not an idiot either. Sure, you're like the first people in almost a decade to go up there, so it's all grungy and falling apart. And sure, there's no way I could ever hope to rent it out to the public, and sure, I'd never have a personal use for it. But keeping the lights on and the water running still costs money, you know? So, in exchange for gradually fixing it up in an itty bitty, teensy, wincy little bit of rent, just a smidge, pure pennies, it's basically theft, honestly. I may not be letting Fred rent it out so he can live there indefinitely. Maybe, possibly, potentially, I bet. What? What? Why am I just not hearing about this? As if your attention over to Fred perhaps coming off as a bit more accusatory than you meant to. You meant to as you shout your disbelief in his direction. Yeah, I didn't really feel like it was my place to make the announcement. I mean, you're the one renting it. Yeah, but it's your place, so I figured you should be the one to declare it and make it official. Didn't want to presume or anything. Okay, but like, why though? You're literally the one renting it, my dude. Why on earth would that not give you permission to talk about it? I guess okay, maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Wait, hold on, back up. You're renting a place? Don't you already have a house? Yeah, but I'm not renting it for me. This is all for you, buddy. I I don't want to be a burden on you, though. That's turns mooting off one person to mooting off two people. As appreciative as I am, I can't possibly do that to you. I'll just start. I'll start looking for a place of my own. So, chat, stop. Let's be real for a second. It's been a busy few weeks. A lot of shit has been going on. It's definitely not over yet. Even assuming all this crap with Dusan didn't happen, I doubt you were planning on staying with Kathy for much longer anyway. Now you don't have to worry about it anymore. You have a solid place to stay. I know you've been struggling for a long time. Months, maybe even years, and it's all probably my fault. I This isn't charity work. It's not out of pity. It's certainly not some selfless material attempt to get you to forgive me. We're only doing this because we care about you. I really care about you, Chad. If there's anything that I can help you with, I will. And not just because I think I owe you something, even though I definitely do. I want to do this because from my very core, I want to help my best friend. I said it over and over again at this point, like a damn broken record, but I'll repeat myself because I mean it. You were there for me, so now it's my turn to be there for you, and I promise I will be always. Alright, it's a lot. They've done so much for you. What have you done in return? Your mind scrambles to find an answer, but the no response it comes up with makes your heart ache. It creates a confusing cocktail in your head. What could you possibly ever do? It feels like you're stuck in a cycle being catered to with no way out. You don't have money and you can't even protect them when they're so busy protecting you. The very nature demands that you do something no matter how hard you think. Nothing but say thank you comes up as a way to pay them back. It tears you apart inside. Your fist clenches in your lap as you look away, confusing and guilt stealing your words as your friends look on with somber smiles. Here. She slips her hand into her pocket, which rattles noisily, almost like they're full of random junk. Eventually, after a bit of digging, she pulls out a set of keys attached to a cute little keychain, holding them out to you with a big, warm grin. I made a copy just for you. Enjoy your new place. Hopefully this is enough to remove some of that titanic weight from your shoulders, muscle double boy. Your face reddening and tears threatening to pour from your eyes, you sadly lift your hand toward her as she plops the keychain to your palm. Thank you guys, honestly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Grip the keychain firmly, holding it close to your chest. It seems to radiate a comfortable warmth in your grasp. A warmth that spreads to your heart effortlessly. You resolve yourself to cling to this warmth and the kindness that brought it along with every fiber of your being. It's been so hard from the moment you made it home on that fateful day 10 years ago, all the way to right now. It's been so damn hard, but it's finally time for you to face the fact that you aren't dealing with this alone. Having someone to have your back really makes a difference, don't you think? We got you, fam. You can trust us, buddy. The sun sinks below the horizon, banishing all but the artificial light lining the park's paths from the world, yet things feel bright and warm. Fred's hand affectionately lands on your leg while Jenny gives your shoulder a reassuring pat. There's no way I'll ever be able to properly thank you guys, but I'll be sure to do my best to repay you for all this one day, I promise. Fred and Jenny smile and nod in unison, and things go quiet as you finish your burgers in a comfortable silence. As the cafe comes back into view, Jenny rushes ahead of you, stopping in front of it, and poses triumphantly. Wadi, you ready to make it official? You got 3 keys on that ring I gave you. One for the back door, one for your apartment inside, and then one for the front door. That also makes your employment super duper official now, so don't go losing it. And now without further ado, stick that sucker in there and let this door know who's boss. Hell yeah. Get ready, door. You're gonna have to deal with me for a long time. Your heart flutters giddily as you approach the door, new keys in hand. Wait! Her sudden sob makes you jump, nearly dropping the keys. When you look back towards her, she's moved back and bed is now holding up her phone. God, wait! She peers at you from behind her phone, master toothy grin fully on display as she motions for you to keep going. Just go with it, Chad. She's a big fan of recording important moments. Well, sorry. I like to keep records of all my precious memories. It's like Big Granny Bunny used to say, your memories define you and your legacy. I'm making sure that legacy lasts, damn it. So you already know that you're going to go see now? So you already know that you're going to go see now. Shut up, Fred. Jenny repeats what Fred just said in a mocking tone, then glares at him all the while. Fred laughs to himself, shaking his head. Anyways, no more distractions. Open the door already and make sure you give the camera a big smile and say screw homelessness or something. Camera's rolling, Chad. Come on. Leave it to Jenny to make something as simple as opening a door embarrassing. You let out a soft sigh and finally start to insert the key into the lock. As you do, though, you can faintly make out some strange noises on the other side. Huh? As soon as the key touches the lock, the door swings open. There's a moment of silence as all three of you look on in confusion, the dark interior of the cafe suddenly feeling incredibly intimidating. Still, something compels you to enter. Men in black suits stand scattered around the cafe. They're nearly impossible to make out in the dark, but once your eyes adjust, you can tell that they've been busy. Tables and chairs lay shattered and broken, and piles on the floor. Boxes full of equipment and tools have been shredded and destroyed. The only things left intact are the bar and a single chair seated in front of it, both seemingly left in one piece solely for the comfort of one person. It's about time you showed up. I'm a busy man, you know. Your blood flashes to a boil in your veins as you recognize a lion seated smugly at the bar, staring back at you with the most punchable expression a man can ever wear. Behind you, Jenny and Fred squeeze inside to see what the deal is with your deafening silence. What's wrong? Her voice peters out and as she processes the sight before her. Her arms fall to her side as her ears droop, her eyes wide and face contorted into a confused gawk. Fred, however, has his gaze firmly locked on Dusan, just like you. Ah, my saddle. Good to know I found the right place. You really should focus more on locking your own door instead of following me around. I do. The door is always locked. Yet the scum finds its way in otherwise. Well, it's unfortunate that you seem to have forgotten his time. Oh well. I wanted to send my regards. Having such an eager fan is rare these days. I thought maybe a gift basket or some wine would help celebrate the occasion, but, well, when we arrived, I realized that such niceties wouldn't match the aesthetic. It's just the same. It really looked like this place was coming together as this happened, I suppose. Accident. Oh, sweetie, this wasn't an accident. That douchery haircut of yours, though. God, I hope so. The only thing more tragic would be if it was intentional, but surely nobody would ever willingly look like they were only half committed to being a crappy anime character, yet still somehow think it makes them look cool. Well, you certainly have no creativity and can think of much more tragic things. For example, take your poor family rocking the streets to make a living for you. We know that accidents like this happen all over Marble. I wouldn't be surprised if your parents' form is next. You motherfucker! Jenny! Fred grabs her shoulder and stops her, putting himself in between her and Dusan. All the while, your anger kept mounting. Dusan finally stands, letting out a long, exasperated sigh. Let my presence here be a lesson. You are not smart. You are not creative. You are not sneaky. I know you've been telling me, trying to stick your filthy noses into the places they don't belong. Clearly you have no fucking idea who you're messing with. So let me spell it out for you, nice and simple. I do not like people messing with my business. If you can't mind your own, then I'll have to mind it for you. And we certainly wouldn't want that, now would we? Because when I mind other people's business, things happen. Certain things like, oh, I don't know, your brother suddenly picking up a cool new drug and winding up on the bad side of the wrong people. Or perhaps the separate's mother accidentally pricking herself with a needle that has a wrong medicine in it. Maybe the abnormal's father getting accused of do it. The interruption actually catches Dusan off guard, and he stares at you in stunned silence for a moment. I couldn't give less to say about my father, so go on. Do it. Make yourself feel like a big, tough man by ruining the lives of people around you because you aren't getting your way. You know, like real adults. Huh? One whole decade you still haven't made your peace. That would be impressive if it wasn't so sad. Oh, now you're the expert on happy family life, huh? Yes, sir. Keep fucking talking. I'm dying to hear what's next. Oh, do I have your permission? Then I will gladly take you up on that offer. Because you can glare at me and clench your fist all you want, but it doesn't change the fact that you aren't going to do shit. And just because you are determined to die alone and full of regret doesn't mean that applies to everyone. So for their sake, what do you say we make a little agreement, This Sunday, I have plans to take my lovely family for a nice walk in the park. Say, around noon, we're going to have a picnic, enjoy the breeze and the sunshine, and just relax. And hey, since I'm such a nice guy, you guys are all invited, and to really sweeten the deal, I'll even let you bring a plus one. But then again, you don't really have any friends to bring. Well, save for the hooded tiger, that is, he'd probably be your best pet. Actually, I bet he helped avoid any accidents from happening that day to Tony and Kathy specifically. By now his words have stopped reaching your ears. Your fists are clenched as tight as your muscles will allow. A cry warms up from deep within your chest as you bare your teeth at him, taking a step towards him. Up. Easy there, abnormal. My family outing isn't until Sunday, but that doesn't mean accidents can't happen before then. Fred grabs your shoulder, standing at your side, staring directly into your eyes. It's enough to bring you to your senses. It's also a reminder that this isn't how Dusan's supposed to be, but the rage still boils within you. At least one of you understands the situation you're in. You bite your tongue as he smirks down at you. You're fighting with every fiber of your being to not lunge at him and tell him a new asshole on the spot. Jenny and Dusan's men singing your Zoma be damned. One of his men approaches him, leaning in and whispering something into his ear before handing something over. Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. Here, abnormal. You left your trash in my home while you were taking advantage of my wife's generosity. He extends his arm out to you, and in his palm rests the framed picture of you and Fred that you've been holding onto for a while. Fred's eyes go wide as he recognizes it. He carefully closes the distance to take the frame, but the moment you get close, Dusan's hands clap shut, noisily crushing the frame and photo in his palm. Your hand drops back down to your side as his fingers open back up, dumping the shattered fragments of the frame and shredded photos to the ground. Anyway, that should wrap things up. Let's get out of this dump. His men nod, slowly funneling out past you, with Dusan being the last one to leave, making sure to bump your shoulder with his as He passes, however, he stops just before he crosses the threshold. Oh, by the way, being granted a business license in Moral Marble is contingent on having a fully functional in operation establishment. As a part of the legal definition of in operation, the establishment must meet a certain janitorial and presentation standard, which this pile of rubble clearly does not meet. Honestly, it's a disgrace to the real hard-working business owners in Moral Marble. So for their sake, unless you can get this place fixed up by the end of the week, I'm afraid your application for a license will make it through. And let's be honest, you'll need good luck to keep the lights on in here without any income. Oh, screw that. That's bull. You know it. And knowing her, Doosan crosses his arms, smoothly raising an eyebrow as he scans the building behind you. Now that I think about it, though, the place looks pretty old. Especially if your bill's going unpaid, it could collapse at any moment. I'm sure that if the mayor got a good look at this place, he'd be more than eager to tear it down as a matter of public safety, of course. But maybe I could be convinced to overlook all that and even put in a good word for you. That way we can ensure that your license application actually has a chance. That is, assuming you actually show up on Sunday, and I'm not opposed to being bribed. With a title, perhaps. I'll continue to take care of Kathy or Tony, but the kid's got the sniffles, so he's probably gonna be absent from school until then. I'll look forward to your attendance at my little get-together, Chad. And with that, he leaves. It only takes a few moments for their footsteps to fade into the night, leaving you all to process and definitely silence. Your muscles are still shaking from how tense they are. Almost thoughtlessly, you reach down and pluck the tattered, crumpled photo from the small pile of debris that was once a photo frame on the floor. It takes some work, but you manage to mostly unfurl it. But the damage has been done. Looking down this photo has always filled you with such an intense, swelling cacophony of emotion, but now you don't feel much of anything. Well, much of anything beyond hate, that is, hatred for the man who knew exactly what he was taking from you when he crushed that flame and he had the gall to revel in it. It quickly becomes overbearing, and in a desperate attempt to relieve yourself of that pressure, you hastily stuff it in your pocket. The world around you finally begins registering again, hitting you like a flashback. The cafe, the tools, the material, the counter, the chairs, everything is destroyed beyond repair. You attempt to take slow, deep breaths to calm yourself down, but as the anger subsides, the guilt creeps in instead. She had done so much for you, she's given so much a child a home, and because of you, everything she had worked so hard for is now destroyed. I'm sorry, Jenny. No, Chad, don't be. I've been through shit like this before, so I knew exactly what I was getting into. Which is exactly why we have this. She holds up her phone, tapping it. A moment later, well, you certainly have no creativity. I can think of much more tragic things. For example, taking your poor family, walking the streets and making a living for you. We know that accidents like this happen all over Moral Marble. I wouldn't be surprised if your parents' farm was next. What? How do you... Your heart jumps a little in your chest as you realize what this means. You might still have the upper hand. That's why I stepped in front of her. I was worried they'd notice her recording. That's awesome. But upper hand for what? Yeah. She lets out a deep, defeated sigh, crouching down and burying her face in her hands. Fred kneels down next to Jenny and wraps her up in a protective, gentle hug. That small accent breaks what was left of her facade, and slowly you begin to hear a quiet sobbing from behind her hands. The guilt sweeps back in like a storm, and you're unable to shake the feeling that this is all your fault. You join Fred and Jenny on the floor, doing your best to comfort her by rubbing her back. It's the best you can do, although you're glad that they aren't really paying attention to you because the expression you're making must be awful. Not only did you get Jenny's cafe trashed, but now Kathy and Tony are in even more danger. And for what? God damn it. Fred squeezes her closer, lightly stroking the back of her head as he sobs. It's a familiar gesture, one that you've felt numerous times before. You know its meaning all too well. I got you. It probably isn't the first time Fred's done this for her, either. As it seems to soothe her, gradually her sobbing begins to quiet down. There. There's no need to be so upset. It wasn't a total loss. You totally roasted him in front of his own men. Pretty sure I saw one stifle a laugh. To your surprise, Jenny goes quiet, slowly pulling her face back up out of her hands. I sure did, didn't I? You sure did, girl. I would have kept going too, but somebody decided to stop me. Oh, believe me, I know you would have, but they would have noticed your phone. Yeah, I guess. Either way, now those guys are going to be talking about it. It'll spread like wildfire. He was hoping his subordinates start seeing him as a joke too. Fred nods, getting back up to his feet and extending his hand down for Jenny. You mirror his actions, putting on your best smile down at the flustered buddy. She does her best to return it, taking both your hands and allowing you both to lift her back up. Thanks, guys. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't here. I doubt he would have hurt you. He's clearly gotten an ulterior motive, and even though his haircut is stupid, he isn't. He's fully aware of how valuable a bargaining chip hostages can be. No doubt he knows that if he hurt you, all bets would be off. He's fucking lucky the bet is still on as it is. Yeah. Sorry to randomly switch the topic like this, but something's been bothering me. How did he know we would be out all day today? It's not like I have a routine or anything. You're absolutely sure you haven't been following any set patterns? Yeah, I made sure to mix up my following patterns and sporadically return home every now and again to throw off the scent. Nobody should even have known I was following him. Yeah, thing is, Toussaint's a powerful man. It's not hard to believe that he has eyes and ears everywhere. And I generally mean no offense by this, but there's no way your sleuthing skills could have matched up to men whose jobs are to be sneaky. Don't worry, none taken. I guess I got a little too excited and let it go to my head. Nah, you don't get to go and start putting yourself down now. You still did a good job, and what you provided to us was invaluable. That being said, I think it's time I officially say that you need to sit the rest of this out. Chad and I will handle it from here. What are you guys going to do? What make him come to his senses? He stares at you both for a moment, completely baffled. When the look of confidence on your faces don't convince her, she gestures at the rubble that is a cafe, then keeps staring. Look, the reason why he's being such a dick is because that hooded tiger guy he wants to meet stole something important from him, and he thinks Kathy and Tony helped him steal it. What? Combine that with the stress from his job and the average life of a busy adult, and well, you get this. We're just going to get him to come to his senses. Don't worry, we have a pretty good idea of what to do, I guess, but to go so far as to take it out on his own family. You and I both know that people have become city parents for far less of a reason before. Yeah. Well, there's no way I can trust you two idiots to handle that by yourselves. I'll leave taking care of Toussaint up to you, but kids and scared mothers require a more feminine touch. But wait, Jenny, seriously? It's okay. This isn't how it usually is. You really don't have to. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed the part of your relationship that convinced you I would ever leave you hanging like that. Please, enlighten me. Fred flinches, taking a moment to process before taking a deep breath. You're right. Sorry. And Chad. You don't get to worry about me either. Trust me. I've seen all this before. These people let a little bit of power go to their heads, and they think they can always get their way with just a little bit of threatening and manipulation. But I decided a long time ago that I'd never let anyone else control me like that, no matter how much they threaten me. And because of that, I'm deciding right now that I'm going to stand by you and Fred. Even after all this, especially after all of this. And don't worry about anybody else either. And certainly not. My brother and Rosa know how to handle themselves just fine. But that's only because I'm putting my faith in you guys. That trust had better not be misplaced. Of course it isn't. We've been doing our own work regarding Dusan, and now we have plenty of stuff to use against him. We'll definitely make him return to his senses. Good. She smirks at you, but that smirk fades away as she scans back over the cafe one more time. She takes a slow, deep breath. Anyways, you guys should probably just go and get some rest. I'll go have a talk with Henry, my guy from the hardware store, and tell him everything that came in from the factory is all messed up. I'll have an awful place in no time. She said it playfully, but her voice definitely cracked as she said it. Anyways, I probably should go now. I'll clean this all up tomorrow. So, good night, guys. Before you have a chance to say anything else, she turns and rushes out the cafe, but not before spending a long time at the lock to make sure it is definitely locked this time. Wait, Jenny, Chad. Yeah? Just let her be for now. She needs time to process all this. But she just looked like I know, just trust me. This is how she deals with things. We could be there for her when she needs it, but sometimes she just needs to be alone. She'll probably take some time to process, vent a little bit, and then she'll be back to the regular Jenny before you know it. I see. Fred's words should have been enough to calm you down, but as the silence creeps back in, your mind starts to wander again, and as it does, it inevitably finds the guilt once more. But she shouldn't have had to go through that. If it wasn't for me, none of this would have happened. All this is my shit, not hers. I'm so sick of other people taking blows for me. I've got to take responsibility for all of this. Shan, we're gonna make this happen, Fred. I don't care that we only have a few days left now. I'm going to get strong enough by then. And I'm going to beat the shit out of him. He's gonna pay. And that would be my first step to paying you both back for all you've done for me. Alright. I wonder what you say if you could see the look in your eye. To be continued. So that's the first time we saw Jenny break down. Throughout the story, we saw her as this optimistic, the strong and optimistic woman, this strong and optimistic bunny who always see the bright things in everything, always look on the bright side, and we see her break down in tears for the first time, and we got corrupt officials like Dusan bringing all that new equipment that she bought. That's just really sad. I mean, and then he wants to say that she's in violation and that it's not good to have all that stuff in her place when he broke all of it. Boy. Anyway, this is certainly not the real Dusan, but I mean, I hope Chad and Fred can make Dusan come to his senses. And I mean, it's possible for that to happen, and even Bruce said so himself. I forgot exactly how you do it, but it's possible. So Bruce took something from Dusan with the aid of his wife and son. I wonder what it is. I have no idea, but I think there's going to be a clash between Dusan and Bruce, since both of them often mention each other. I think they're going to clash together. I may be wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen. And it was a good thing Jenny was able to record what Bruce said. Apparently, it sounds like Bruce tries to destroy people that oppose him or doesn't conform to what he wants. So, like if things don't go his way, then he'll target certain people and he'll try to ruin their lives. And he threatened Jenny's family in their form. So yeah, very bad for Jenny. All that stuff she bought, all that new equipment for the place, and Dusan and his men just destroyed all of it. Okay, so now that we're finally caught up with Zomewhere Else, I'm gonna go over a brief review of all the characters. I'm not gonna do it too long. I might not do all of them, but I'm gonna do the main ones. But Chad, he clearly is someone who blames himself too much. I mean, I think he blames himself way too much for things, and it's a good trait that somebody takes account for what they do, but I don't think it's good for somebody to take account for things that aren't their fault, and that's a habit Chad has. I mean, I think he just blames himself too much. And he is more confident now than he was earlier at the start of the story. He's very much determined to take down Dusan and save Kathy and Thony. And Chad is a very supportive person. He's a great friend. He is a little horny and perverted, but he's a great friend to Chad, and he's been going through ups and downs and well beyond over beyond. Excuse me. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, he's certainly been doing way more than what anybody else would do to help Chad. And he spent 10 years looking for him. And the very moment he first saw Chad in the park when he was homeless, when he broke down in tears, and that moment when he broke down in tears in the park when he first saw Chad, that really showed how much he cared about Chad. He's a great friend to Chad. Most people wouldn't go as far as Fred would to do for Chad. And I bet even the majority of friends out there wouldn't do that either. So Chad just doesn't realize how lucky he is to have friends like Fred and Jenny. And Jenny has been great to Chad too. Her giving him a job and letting him stay in her building and just trying to alleviate the burden Chad has in his life. She's a great friend also. And Kathy and Tony, I feel very bad for them. Kathy really does not like the situation that she and her son, Tony, is in. And she's trying to get away from Dusan so she and her son, Tony, can have a better life. And Tony is a sweet child and is very happy, and despite all the bullshit that he and his mother went through, especially when Dusan assaulted him physically, and I don't know how he did it, but I don't know, maybe he strangled him or something like that, I guess. But anyway, he physically assaulted both Tony and Kathy, but despite what his father did to him, he's still very optimistic. He's still hanging in there. That's what I like about Tony. He still has that optimistic, cheerful side of him despite what his father did to him. And Toto, he's a great friend too. He's the one who helped Chad get that job at the log company. We all know that Chad got fired, but he was the one that helped Chad get a job at the log company and helped him with being able to pay for a place to stay and rent. And he certainly is a friend that certainly did a lot more for Chad than most people would have for their friends. Calling their job and encouraging their boss to hire their friend. That was very sweet and kind of Toto. Now, back in that scene where we see Chad in school, he meets Fred for the first time. I think when I saw Toto amongst the other students in there, I think that's when I realized that Toto already knew Chad. He already knew Chad while he was working with him at the log company because he went to the same school Chad did. So that's when I first thought about, there's probably something that Toto knows that the story hasn't told about yet. So, and he was very fat back then. I mean, he knows to be fat, but he done lost a lot of weight since then. And Bruce, he's very knowledgeable about Zoma and the powers and how to use them and their benefits and their dangers and how you use the powers responsibly and properly. I mean, he's a very good teacher. He's very knowledgeable, and it's because of him that Chad has been able, well, not solely because of him, but he played a big part in Chad being able to get this far and be able to have more confidence for himself in dealing with Dusan. Now, the thing that I do not like about Bruce is him and the way he treats Chad. I mean, he treats Martha good, he treats Fred okay, but he treats Fred horribly. And he won't tell Chad why he treats him so bad, but he simply told Chad that his reasons for why he does not like him are his reasons alone. So he won't tell Chad why he doesn't like him so much, but it's clearly something that I don't like about Bruce. I mean, I feel like if we don't learn about why he doesn't like Chad so much, then it's just unnecessary. It's just all unnecessary. I mean, so I hope we at least find out why he doesn't like Chad, so we can at least understand why. I mean, just constantly wondering why he doesn't. And I really like Martha. He's very sweet, very innocent, and as we got to know him more, as we communicated with him more, he was able to speak more properly, but to the extent where he was able to speak in full complex sentences now, and that he's also very knowledgeable of Zoma and the powers. And his powers deal with manipulating other people's minds, so that's a convenient power to have. I mean, at least now we goes to where Chad and Fred lives, he can just go there on his own without anybody noticing, because he'll alter other people's minds to the point where they won't be able to see him. He'll be invisible. Well, he's not really invisible, but he alters people's minds where he'll still be visible, but other people won't see him. So we're finally done with Zomewhere Else for now. We probably won't get a new update until sometime next year, because the creator just put the game on hiatus last month. So it will probably be a while until we get a new update, but that's all for now. So, like I said, we're up to date with the game for now, and I like all the main characters, and some of the other characters I like, some of them not so much. Dusan's the one I dislike the most. Even that truly isn't him, but you know. So anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you all very much for watching. Bye.